Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well, and I do hope you all had a fantastic weekend as well, my friends. Now, on Friday in the House of Lords, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, put forward a motion to debate the principles behind contemporary UK asylum and refugee policy and responding to the challenges of forced immigration. Well, this is Lord Cashman, who, in my view, pulled out a bit of a banger of a speech in my eyes. Enjoy.
My Lords, there's been a lot of references to religion and Christianity this morning, I suppose not surprisingly given that it's a debate in the name of the Archbishop of Canterbury. But I want to point out, for the avoidance of doubt, I am not a Christian, I am an atheist, and I come to these matters from the concept of what is happening to others could so easily be happening to me. And if I wouldn't want it to happen to me, how dare I allow it to happen to others? I also wish to commend the work that I see being done by all faiths and none, and I celebrate that work. I also wish to congratulate the three maiden speeches, the Right Reverend Prelate, the Bishop of Leicester, my dear friend from the West Midlands, and my noble friend, Lord Sahota, and of course, Baroness Twycross. My Lords, at times of crisis and when countries and their systems are under increasing pressure, we have even more need to adhere to international standards and agreed human rights obligations, as so eloquently outlined by my noble friends, Baroness Chakrabarty and Lord Griffiths of Bury Port. Indeed, my Lords, in times of crisis, we need certainty and need to abide by principles and standards that I believe define us as a civilized nation. How we treat those most in need defines us long after our actions. Therefore, my Lords, the demonisation, stereotyping, misrepresentation and the defamation of asylum seekers and migrants by the media, politicians and government ministers is, I believe, deeply reprehensible, serves no one and does nothing other than fuel hatred, despair and greater isolation. Only when we deal with the reasons why people flee their countries will we ever reduce the need for refuge. And until we can achieve resolution of these issues, we must meet our international obligations, indeed, I would say, our moral obligations. My Lords, the UK asylum system, as we have heard, is in an utter state of collapse. It is overwhelmed by backlogs which government policy has created. The impact is one of crisis. Thousands of people stuck for long and indefinite periods, frequently in conditions that are inadequate, unsanitary, overcrowded, and even unlawful, causing disease, distress, and there is every indication to conclude deaths. There are significantly more people now dying in this system, including babies. The last three Home Secretaries, discounting Grant Shapps, whose term of office lasted less than a week, have made crossing the Channel by small boat a focal point. During their respective terms, they have each contributed to the sense that these crossings constitute, my Lords, a national threat. Priti Patel significantly cranked up rhetoric and policy that is hostile to people seeking asylum. The current Home Secretary has continued this, describing people seeking asylum as invaders, and did so barely 24 hours after a firebomb attack upon people seeking asylum detained in Dover. Shameful in the extreme. The express aim of such policy, my Lords, is deterrence, and primarily expressed as deterrence of small boat crossings, but the real policy aim is the deterrence of seeking asylum. So we witness a dangerous cocktail of deterrence and the demonisation of asylum seekers. No good has come from this policy, and no good can come from it. We need safe, clear, obvious ways to seek asylum. No more confusion, no more ducking and diving, no more Home Secretaries using asylum seekers and desperate migrants as political capital to shore up their bid for power in the future. No more dangerous rhetoric aided and abetted by a right-wing printed media that fills me with shame. We urgently need the creation of real and accessible safe routes by which people, especially people with family and connections here, can seek asylum in the United Kingdom. And we need the government to respect international human rights and asylum law in the case of every person who exercises their right to seek asylum in this country. My Lords, I wish to quote from a briefing from the Refugee and Migrant Children's Consortium. Over recent years, we have seen the government significantly erode the rights of children seeking asylum, not just by making the asylum system less accessible and more punitive, but by also excluding them from the child protection and welfare frameworks that should apply to all children in this country, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, or immigration status. My Lords, if such an appalling indictment does not shame this government and fill us all with a sense of shame, then I wonder what kind of country we have become. But let me finish on a positive note. A man who experienced the best of British decency when he arrived here under the Kinder transport. My noble friend, Lord Dubs, reminded us that we must give hope.
Now, was that a bit of a belter? Now, Lord Brown mentioned how after Lord Cashman had finished, and how much he was trained to hold a room, and how much he felt as though he'd drawn the short straw. And I thought, a bit baffled about that. Who is this Lord Cashman? Well, it turns out after a little research that Lord Cashman was in EastEnders from 1986 to 1989 as Colin Russell. So, yeah, I see what it means. But anyway, let me know what you think, and tell me down below, and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.